People who have visited the US, what is your WTF America story? First night in LA, watched as a stolen cop car and a million cop cars flew past me down Hollywood Boulevard at 60 miles per hour at 10 p.m. Then I turned and walked back into the Thai restaurant where I watched the fugitive get pit maneuvered and shot dead live on the news via helicopter chase cam. Dude sitting next to us was excited to tell us we had officially experienced LA. Over the top car chases, action chase cam news, neon lights in Hollywood, a nation restaurant. That made me feel like I was in an art film. He was right. I've told this story on Reddit before, but my biggest WTF was in fall 2005. Google Earth had just come out, and my colleague at the university lab and I were looking at it. She was a blonde bombshell from San Diego, and I'm a portly Indian boy. When I showed her Mumbai, my home city, she was blown away. You have buildings? Look, there's an airport. Oh my god, you have cars? How the hell do you think we get around? I asked. Her reply still rings on my head. Not walking, not cows, not elephants, not bicycles, not horse-drawn carts. She said camels. If I ever saw a camel in Mumbai, I'd stop everything I'm doing and say holy shit, that's a ducking camel. Was at an all-you-can-eat buffet with a soft serve ice cream machine. As kids we thought we were being little pigs by swelling as high as we possibly could while our parents weren't looking, or they certainly would have stopped us. The guy after us grabbed a full-size drink tumbler and filled it up with ice cream. No shame at all. No childlike glee at making the mother of all Sundays. I suspect now it was something he did regularly. When I went to Florida, I was stopped by the police for jaywalking. I protested that the road was clear, so therefore safe to cross. He said, I don't know how you do it in your country, but here in the US we take road safety seriously. Aghast, I explained I was from England and my only knowledge of jaywalking was from Lethal Weapon 3, and that I believed it was just a made-up law that they used in the movie to sass people. He chuckled and said, that's a great movie. I prefer the first. I agreed and said it was by far the best. After a brief chat about the entire Lethal Weapon saga, he said, in future make sure you use the crossings. I agreed, but asked in a pretty decent South African accent, what if I have diplomatic immunity? He chuckled, nodded his head, and pointed to the crossing and said, cross there, enjoy your vacation, and off he went. It was the highlight of my holiday. I went to Disneyland in Anaheim, and it just struck me that there were a large number of disabled people out and about enjoying the rides. I'm from India, where there is no shortage of disabled people, but it was just the sheer number of disabled people that made me extremely happy that the park was accessible to everyone. You done good, America, I said to myself as I ate some horrible expensive fried thing. I later realized that most of those people were not disabled, but fat people on scooters who did not feel like walking. Where do I sign up? Guy I worked with asked me if we had hospitals in Colombia. According to New Yorkers, my mother and I can't possibly be Portuguese. Apparently we are Russian. Damn. Other than incredibly nice and friendly, I loved it. When I first came to the US and my dad took us to a restaurant, I ordered a fish dish, and when it came out I asked my dad how come the fish doesn't look like a fish. I was used to whole cooked fish, so deep fried fish fillet looked really strange to me. Korean friend who just got off the plane in Atlanta. So many big fat black women. Yes, he said it loudly and in public. But my favorite was a Japanese fellow who went to a buffet with a group of us in Vegas. He sits down, and his plate looks like a normal little meal. We all have heaps of shit all over ours, and his eyes bug out that we have so much food. I said he's really going to freak out when he realizes this is only our first plate. A couple. I went to university at Cal State Fresno. I was a country boy from Canada. When I was there, the entire downtown of Fresno was boarded up, and you did not go there after dark actually anytime. And a full-blown gun/gang fight outside of my apartment in Clovis, a suburb near the university. For a kid from small town Canada, that was mind-blowing. When I first moved to America, one of the first things I saw after leaving JFK was a homeless man masturbating outside of Union Station. It wouldn't have been that strange, except I had heard a lot of things about New York City from people who had been there or knew someone who knew someone, etc, and I was worried what I was seeing was just going to be an everyday, everywhere thing all throughout the country. It depends on where you go. Cities that are large and high traffic tend to have a lot of volunteers who freelance. Mid-sized cities with substantially lower numbers of visitors per month often have a tourist bureau employing enough masturbators to provide auxiliary services. If you want, you can go to Orlando, or Uber can get a personal assistant who will whack it while showing you the sights or even carry your shopping bags one-handed. I saw 50 chicken nuggets for $5. Ducking where? I don't know where that one is, but you can get 50 for $10 at the McDonald's on the Strip in Vegas. I'm from Canada and went to Sis's Pizza in Florida. Holy shit, $5 for an all-you-can-eat buffet, which was basically a fast pass to witness a shit ton of gluttony. That was on another level. Not my story, but my mom's again, and instead of visiting, it was more like a people who have immigrated to the US. What is your WTF America story? So it's the early 1980s, and my mom's plane touches down in Lax from Tokyo. As she was collecting her luggage and waiting for her friend to pick her up, a Hare Krishna which she had never seen before came up to her and asks her in English if she could donate a few dollars. My mom, who only had a few yen and a poor grasp of English, tried to explain to the Hare Krishna that she couldn't understand him and that she had just arrived in the United States. The moment she started talking to him in Japanese, he just gave her some of the money he had and went on his merry way, leaving her at the luggage carousel confused as hell. I asked an old lady if it's true all Americans carry guns. She smiled and pulled a revolver out of her purse. She was a nice lady. Canadian on tour in America. Witnessed an enormous man at a Big Boy in Wisconsin pull out 5 jumbo freezer bags and fill them to the brim with sausages from the all-you-can-eat buffet. He hid every bag between the overhang of his belly and sweet pants, then filled a full plate of sausages, and proceeded to sit calmly at his table and finish eat them. Canadian was in a gas station waiting to pay before prepay took over, and a couple of guys with handguns in holsters were in line in front of me, resting their hands on the guns. Not so much WTF, I knew to expect it, but it's a memory I think of often. Edit, I know nothing about guns or the proper terminology, but I have lots of questions about the exact posture in my inbox, so I'll try to clarify without angering more people. It wasn't a threatening I'm about to draw my gun pose. It was more of a this is just a comfy resting place for my hands pose. Like when you hook your thumb on your belt and let it hang there. Except near your gun. Anyway, my original point wasn't that I thought they were going to draw. I was just shocked seeing a couple of guns like that. It had never happened before. As a Texan, a group of people with their hands on their holsters would make me extremely nervous. It's unearthing to carry, or even open carry. Acting like you might draw that gun is another thing completely. Me paying at gas station. Attendant hears I have an accent. Smiles at me. You speak English so well, thanks. Although I should do. I'm from England. Confused look. Wait. They? She trailed off speak English. There. Her colleague stared at her in open-mouthed disbelief and then broke out laughing with the other customers. She looked mortified. To be fair, I felt terrible for her. She was only trying to be friendly to a foreigner. I'm from America, and I have a friend from Australia. It amazes him that there are so many flags everywhere. Apparently that is a distinct USA thing. He'll make jokes about how we all forget where we are. Was in northern New York near Buffalo, and a waitress overheard that I was headed back to the Pacific Ocean. She asked where I was going, and I said Vancouver. No honey. Vancouver is in Canada and that is on the Atlantic Ocean. I said Canada is from sea to sea just like America. She replied no, that's not right. Only America is from sea to sea. Combination of her being absolutely sure about something and her total ignorance was surprising enough, but the fact that she felt she should basically interrupt our conversation by telling me I'm wrong about what ocean I live beside was weird. French exchange teenager in Cali here. Summer 97. I was young and missed the field trip bus to Disneyland from San Diego. So I did something pretty stupid. I hitchhiked to go there by myself. Dude who took me looked like a plainclothes cops, but a good buddy. When he heard I was French, he told me to never ever hitchhike in USA because it's pretty dangerous. Plus people could assume him a serial killer. So I boasted, look at you. You don't think him a serial killer, him not that dangerous looking, or you are careless. He told me to open the glove box in front of me. There was a supposedly loaded, ducking Desert Eagle inside. He dropped me at the bus station and insisted to give me $10 for ticket. I had cash and waited for me to go in the bus. TL. Doctor, still don't know if plainclothes angel or Zodiac killer. I'm Canadian and I went down to the US to do a little shopping. I accidentally pulled out some Canadian bills and the cashier asked why I kept Monopoly money in my wallet. Edit. A lot of people are saying it was just sarcasm. I don't think it was. The cashier looked around 16 years old. She had probably never seen Canadian money before. When I started awkwardly chuckling, she had a puzzled look on her face. But who knows, maybe she was just really invested in a joke. Those gaps in your toilet stall doors. What are they even for? Edit. To clarify, I meant the gaps in the sides of the door, not the bottom. I visited from Canada a couple years ago. Everyone was very nice and had the exact same mildly interested reaction to a credit card with a chip.